Live from Tallahassee, Florida, we are here for the SFL playoffs. Season 12 has come to an end for the regular season. Now we are into postseason play. One and you're done. Welcome into Tallahassee, Florida. Cloudy 70-degree night. My name is Eric Benson alongside Marcus Dunhill, and we have Charles Doherty in the stats truck tonight. We have the Queen City Corsairs visiting the Tallahassee Pride. And Marcus, this is going to be a good matchup here. The number 9 seed visiting the number 8 seed. Both teams that were very, very much higher as far as the seeding goes last season.
Yup, it's been quite a struggle, I would say, for these two teams overall to make it to the playoffs. A pretty tough road, honestly. But they were both able to do it and pulled out the wins needed to get here. And as long as you can make it to the playoffs, even the wild card round, that's all that matters. You have a shot at the championship.
And Queen City, Tallahassee, both at midfield for the coin toss. Queen City coming away with the victory on the coin toss there. They will elect to receive to start the ball game. And we will get everything set up here for the first game of Wildcard Thursday. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. We're live on YouTube. And here we go. Richard Douglas has the ball on the tee. And we are ready to go here in Tallahassee. And we're underway. Ball fielded inside the 10-yard line. That's J.K. Johnson III bringing it up the field to the 27-yard line, and that is where he will be dragged down. And that's where Queen City will take over to start things off. A.J. Caswell, the fifth-year man, 6'3", 233, comes out on the field to lead the troops.
In the backfield, they got Ash Odom on this team, and he's been one of the top running backs in the league for many years now. So I'd expect him to get plenty of carries as this game gets going.
He's going to start off in the shotgun. 2 backs back there with him. Caswell pressure early already. He's going to zing it out to the left-hand side, the near sideline. That is Chris Curtis with his first catch. Stephen Hacker, the other wide receiver. J.K. Johnson III, we saw him return the kick. And Ash Odom, as you mentioned, Marcus, that rounds out the starts for this Corsair offense.
The Queen City Corsairs have plenty of weapons on this offense. Chris Curtis is definitely a playmaker, and so is Stephen Hacker. There's a lot of options for them to go through the air and on the ground.
Full house look. This has been a little bit more popular in the SFL this season. Ash Odom gets absolutely annihilated in the backfield, though, on that second down play. So it's going to be 3rd and 4. A good play there made by one of the linebackers getting in there.
The defensive line for Tallahassee is one of the best defensive lines in the league, as well as their secondary. So it's good to see the linebackers stepping up and getting a good stop on the second play of the game.
Caswell's going to throw. He's going to throw deep. He wants it all, and it's picked off. Tallahassee's going to get the first turnover of the ball game, and a good play there by one of the Sprouse boys. That one's Michael Sprouse with the first turnover.
Just 10 seconds ago, I said they had a really good secondary, and this proves it. Immediately just got ahead of the receiver, jumped up, and took the football. There was absolutely nothing that Queen City could really do. You know, you just wonder whether or not you really want to throw that football. The Sprouse was able to make a break on that ball a little too quick, and I don't think there was a place where that ball could have gotten placed where it wouldn't have gotten intercepted.
Seemed like the throw was thrown a little bit hastily there. So Tallahassee with a quick start. Christian Christensen, the quarterback here for the Pride. And it looks like the defender might have gotten there a little early. No flag on the play, though. And he was looking for his intended receiver. That was Ty Norris, the tight end, excuse me.
Time to see what Tallahassee's got up their sleeves with the new running back they've got this season, A.J. Francis, coming over from Carolina.
Absolutely. Grayson Willis, Ken Gossett, the other 2 wide receivers. We mentioned Ty Norris and A.J. Francis. 1,700 yards rushing this season as he came over from Carolina. Christensen with another throw, his second. This one he finds Grayson Willis. No, I'm sorry. The ones in the 7s look very, very similar for the Pride. That's actually Trevor Swain with his first catch.
Not too bad to pick up 4 yards. It's not the full amount of yards you need, but it sets up 3rd and 6 as opposed to 3rd and 10.
We've got Jeff Duffy at defensive tackle for the Corsairs, Avery King, the outside linebacker, Pharaoh Rains, Oscar Dunkley, the corners, Zane Doty, Achilles Frank, Nacho Sicario, all safeties for the Corsairs. And that is going to be first down yardage as Tallahassee continues to move the drive. Ken Gossett with his first catch, and that's going to be a first down into Queen City territory.
Puts them over the 50-yard line, and the interception that Tallahassee was able to get, bringing their offense onto the field in great field position, allows them to get a new set of downs here and now start working towards that field goal range.
First and 10 from the 48. Christensen to throw again. Still yet to see Francis, and Ken Gossett gets another catch, and he's trying to fight for extra yardage. You're seeing the fight early from this Tallahassee Pride team. They were ranked number 2 in the SFL last season, coming in to the playoffs, number 8 this season, and they're showing that they want to move on today, Marcus.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of space to throw that football. The defenders were a little bit further away, but they did a good job not letting them get any further or fight for yards or get to the first down.
A little bit of a heavier set here. Single back is Francis. He will get his first carry. He zorches up the middle of the field, and tackle made by Avery King just before the first down marker. Going to be third, and we'll call it a chest air.
Queen City was able to keep them short of the first down, but now they get another opportunity to see if they want to run Francis again. See if he can pick up the inch that they need to get that first down. Otherwise, they might be punting. They're a little bit further out of field goal range.
Turnaround handoff. That's Francis. He's got plenty of room. First down yardage and more. Out to the Queen City 30-yard line. Tallahassee continuing to move the ball, and this is what they do well on offense, Marcus.
Yep, and they're definitely a very balanced team. They run when they need to, and they're very effective in the passing game. I wouldn't be surprised after they got a few runs that they needed to pick up that first down if they went straight back to the air.
Tallahassee does like to throw the ball and run the ball. 5th in rushing yards in the SFL regular season. 15th in passing yards, which doesn't quite tell the story, but they are a well-balanced offense as they move into this 1st and 10 from the 30. 8 minutes and counting to go in the opening frame. Christensen pump fake throws. Could have been picked off going the other way. Instead, it falls incomplete, looking for Gossett once again.
That was definitely a good read by QCC, trying to jump in front of the ball, cut him off, and take it away. Wasn't able to take it away, but was able to at least make sure that Gossett wasn't able to catch the football. Because Gossett's one of those wide receivers where if you give him any opportunity to catch the ball, he probably will. He makes some of the most spectacular catches you've seen.
High formation this time for the Pride. Christensen to throw. Short drop. He'll throw it over the middle of the field. That's caught. First down yardage. And that's Ken Gossett once again. 3 catches, 26 yards already here early.
Doing so far, it looks like he's going to be their main target, at least so far in the game in the beginning. Brings them up plenty of distance into the field goal range, and as well as give them the first down. Now they're only about 16 yards out of getting into the end zone, so pretty soon they're probably going to switch to running the ball over the ground and try to get a little bit closer and not risk the ball in the air.
Gossett 867 yards and 9 touchdowns in the regular season. Francis with another handoff. He'll get 4 on the play as they move further into the SFL red zone down at the 12.
So far, Francis has had some pretty good runs. I think he was stopped on one of his runs fairly short, but then his last couple runs have been pretty good. So just inching closer and closer to that goal line. You don't want to make any mistakes or turn the ball over when you're this close.
Christensen pump fakes again. Good pocket. Throws it over the middle of the field into the end zone. And we have our first score of the SFL playoffs. Touchdown Tallahassee.
That touchdown was great patience by Christensen, looking and waiting. He punt faked and didn't throw the football, didn't panic, waited an extra second, waited for somebody to get open. And right over the middle, you can see, just was able to outrun the defenders. It looked like maybe a linebacker was on the coverage for that one. Just able to catch the ball and fall over the goal line. So a great play and easy touchdown for Christensen. So see if they can make this field goal and make it 7-0.
And Richard Douglas going to attempt the extra point here with 7:01 remaining in the opening frame. High snap. Got it down, though, up and good. 7-0 your score here in Tallahassee, the state capital of Florida. Like I said, it's cloudy, 70 degrees out, perfect night for football, and we're happy to have you guys all with us here tonight. Doubleheader of SFL playoff football, Marcus. We got lucky enough to call the first one, and we'll have the next one coming up on the SFL family of networks on YouTube once this one concludes. Douglas boots it down the field, fielded inside the 10 is Johnson the third once again, and he will move it up to the 27. And that is where we will start things on their second possession here. A little team comparison for season 12 here, and we talked about it a little bit earlier on. Queen City certainly has the turnover differential advantage, but Tallahassee just the much better overall offense. Offset I formation for the Corsairs. Ash Odom gets a carry. He avoids a couple defenders, and he zorches off down the near sideline. Is anyone going to get a chance to catch him? He's got one defender to beat. No one's going to take him. He's going to go into the end zone. That's a touchdown for Queen City.
This shows you exactly why Ash Odom's been one of the top running backs in this league for a number of years now. Always in the top 3, always making the Pro Bowl. Able to get the handoff, and it looked like the defensive line might have been able to get in there, and he just was able to get around people, find some open space on the left side, and just use his speed to outrun everybody straight to the end zone. So, quick play for Queen City to come back and already score and potentially tie it up. This is kind of what you get from playoff football. You get both teams trying to make huge plays.
Absolutely, and you saw it there, our movement ever scroll block of the game early on here in the first quarter, and actually a couple key blocks there that sprung Ash into the end zone there, Marcus.
Yeah, he definitely followed some great blocks. But he also had really good vision and elusiveness to get around the defenders that were at the line of scrimmage, so a really good play by everybody involved in that offensive play to get him to the end zone.
Kicker punter extraordinaire Ricky Matthews on to attempt the extra point. And that is up and through. And we will pause for a moment from movement. Ever scroll by movement. Blocks blue lights and protect your eyes from digital screens. Don't hurt your eyes by checking out SFL action. Protect them and see every moment by using the promo code SimulationFL at purchase from movement.com. A portion of your purchase supports the SFL through our partnership, Movement, premium watches, sunglasses, and accessories. 7-7 your score here in Tallahassee, 6:46 to go. And we told you it was going to be an exciting one. Everyone hold on to your hats, get your popcorn ready. We're going to have more to come here as the kick is fielded at about the 15-yard line, brought up the middle of the field to the 30, and that's where Tallahassee will take over once again. So a quick turn of events here, Marcus. Bing, bang, boom, Tallahassee's back out there on offense.
Pretty sure Tallahassee didn't expect their defense to only be out for a single play, so their offense didn't get a whole lot of rest after going straight down the field. They had a very good, efficient drive, a mix of running when they needed to and good passing that got them a touchdown. So time to see how they're going to respond to Queen City's first touchdown of the game.
Christensen in the shotgun. He will throws it over towards the side, and that is incomplete. Good coverage out there by one of the linebackers. That was Jace Robbins covering up Ty Norris nicely.
That's one of those throws that's probably a little bit ill-advised. There was a defender immediately in front of the receiver and immediately behind. So the only way to make a catch on that one is to put the ball directly between the two, and that's pretty difficult to do if it's a little underthrown or overthrown. One of those two is probably going to make a play on that football. So it's very lucky that that was only batted away.
A.J. Francis is the single back. Instead, Christensen will throw, and he's got Ty Norris once again. He's had a couple key catches already early on, and he gets first down yardage on that. That will move the sticks.
Teams love to find the tight end mismatch to try to get some yards, and it looked like he just got a little bit of separation and just enough for Christensen to be able to hand him the football. So good play and good watching by Christensen to see as soon as he got a little bit of separation, he needed to throw the football. If he waited a little bit longer, that gap probably would have closed and he wouldn't have been able to make the catch.
Christensen in the gun once again. Sidecar left is Francis. Christensen to throw again. Throws it over the middle. This time picked off. And a nifty couple moves there by the defender. That's Oscar Dunkley with the pick. And he can take it back all the way. He will. Pick six. Queen City. They're on top. Touchdown.
So how is that for a momentum shift in this game? The first touchdown goes to Tallahassee, then a quick running touchdown by Ash Odom, and then a nice touchdown interception, pick 6 here. Just, Queen City has one of the best secondaries in this league as well, and you can see that here, just able to catch the ball. Made a lot of moves out to the left side, straight to the end zone. So it's really quite the game that Queen City is now putting the pressure on Tallahassee as well.
And an excellent job by Dunkley. I mean, shoot, he looked like a wide receiver out there. A shifty little juke move, spin move, and then he was just on the near sideline. No one was going to catch him. Bad snap. Kick is up and good, though, for Queen City. 14-7 your score in favor of the Corsairs coming into Tallahassee and kind of shell-shocking the Pride a little bit here.
Yeah, there's been an interception for both teams so far, and you can see both teams have been throwing some awfully risky footballs, and that's kind of what people tend to do in the playoffs. It's one and done, so if you're not aggressive, it might cost you the game. But if you're too aggressive, that can also cost you the game. So you got to try to find a big balance between those two.
So Tallahassee going to get the return once again here. And really, the Queen City offense just hasn't had a ton of time on the field, and somehow they have the lead here, Marcus.
Yep. Good play by Ash Odom, got some points, and the defense was able to score some points. As for the offense, it looks like there's only been maybe 4 offensive plays for Queen City's offense so far in this game.
Christensen going to take a quick throw towards the sideline. He's got Gossett once again, and he's been very, very popular tonight. He's already had, that's his 4th catch tonight, and we're not even out of the first frame yet.
Absolutely. Ken Gossett is definitely a weapon. He has been, even in previous seasons, even, he had teamed with Duke Wilson in the past, who ended up getting Offensive Rookie of the Year in Season 10. But even with Duke gone, you can see Ken Gossett stepping up and really becoming one of the big weapons for this offense.
Christensen will hand it off this time to Francis, and man, did he lower his shoulder there on Avery King. Got a couple more yards out of it, and a first down for the Pride.
So far, the running is not bad for A.J. Francis. They just need to make sure they keep the ball on the ground a little bit more than the air. Play a little bit more conservative football here to make sure you don't turn the ball over, because that's one of the hardest things to come back from, is when you're down points, and if you continue to turn the ball over, you just have a big hole to dig out.
Christensen quickly gets the troops to the line and quickly throws it to the near sideline. He's got Grayson Willis on that catch there for a gain of 2. That'll continue to move the sticks. Or no, excuse me, to continue to move them down the field. 2nd and 8 coming up here.
8 yards away, so they probably need to either try something through the air or see if they can get Francis free for a run. Being 3rd and 8 is not the situation you necessarily want to be in. Hopefully they can pick up at least 4 yards.
I formation, Christensen, quick drop back, quick throw, and he's got Willis again on the sideline. A little toe drag swag there on the near sideline. And 3 more yards, 3rd and 5 coming up from midfield.
Time to see what they got in their bag of tricks, whether or not they believe that they can let A.J. Francis run on this particular play for the 5 yards, or whether or not they have to go through the air. You can see 76.4 is Christensen's rating with the interception.
Trips towards the bottom of the screen here on this 3rd down. He's going to throw that way, and he's got his man. That's Grayson Willis. Can he beat the defense to the end zone? He'll get stopped right at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal coming up for the Pride.
Queen City went for that football and just missed and was able to give Willis an opportunity to catch the football. Let's take a look at the replay. It looked like just went over them, actually. Great job by Willis to find his open space on the right side and Christensen to give him the ball. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it to the end zone, but he's going to drop the ball on the 2-yard line. 1st and goal for Tallahassee now. Give them an opportunity to tie up the game.
Francis, the single back, 2 wideouts. Split on opposite sides. Christensen under center, handed up to Francis. Francis is going to have no trouble getting in the end zone. Tallahassee will try and tie this up here.
Definitely a good decision just to run the ball. EJ Francis is one of those powerful runners that you can definitely get a couple yards out of, if not 5. So easy running straight up to get that touchdown. So now they have an opportunity to go ahead and tie this game. It's their passing attack that is so deadly for Tallahassee if you let them throw. Their wide receivers just find all the open space on the field.
So Tallahassee will try and tie this up here with the extra point. Another low snap. Opportunity to block it. However, it goes up and through for the Pride. And it is a 14-14 ball game, all tied up here in Tallahassee. The Simulation Football League is presented by APM Music, Production Music Library and Custom Music House. And in part by Extraordinary Everest, heartfelt messages on the most extraordinary place on earth. By Bit Central and Fuel, transforming SFL media in 2019. And by Harry's, all you need for a close, comfortable shave. Fielded from about the 5-yard line, Johnson III going to bring it up the field. He's going to switch gears over towards the far sideline and gets a couple more yards out of the deal, out to the 32-yard line. And shoot, Marcus, red alert. We might actually see the Queen City offense.
But the question is, how long will we see them? Will they hand it off to Ash Odom for a touchdown again? Only time will tell, but they have an interception through the air and a touchdown through the ground, so they're kind of struggling to find their balance so far in this game.
I haven't even gotten to the Tallahassee defense yet. We'll get to them here in just a second if Ash Odom doesn't run all over him. Odom's going to run all over him. He gets a big gain on first down out to midfield where it's going to be 1st and 10.
Definitely can't let Ash Odom get loose. Just had some blocks that opened up a huge hole in the line that he was able to get through. And looked like he was just able to make a few people miss, and they were able to bring him down, which is good. But it looked like potentially he could have gone for a lot more. So really good job by Tallahassee to limit how much he gets. But he's definitely a really big weapon in this game. And if you don't pay attention, he'll be gone.
4 wideouts for the Corsairs. Pitch play this time to Odom, and this time he'll get dragged down after a gain of 6. We will get to the Tallahassee defense here now. Hunter Norwood, Tyquan Hale, the defensive ends. EJ DeQ, player of the week, defensive player of the week for week 13 after his 7-sack performance against Chicago. The Sprouse boys, Matthew and Michael at corner. Sir Chappelle at free safety, and Alex Bond at strong safety. 2nd and 4, full house. Another handoff to Ash Odom. This time he'll go nowhere as Sir Chappelle comes up from his safety spot to make the play. 3rd and 6 coming up.
Very good defense to force them into a situation where they're probably going to need to throw the football, although Ash Odom can certainly get those yards if he really needs to. But we'll see. This is Tallahassee's opportunity to force the first punt of the game.
Caswell to throw. He's going to throw near sideline. He's got Hacker, and Hacker just barely is short of the first down marker. It might be worthy of a challenge, but we'll have to see here.
That's awfully tough. It was very, very close. I wasn't entirely sure whether or not he got the ball over the line or if he just went out. So it looks like there's not going to be a challenge. So we'll see how Queen City does.
Oh, and a gutsy move by Queen City, and it goes badly for them. Tallahassee is stopping them behind the line, and they'll get the ball turned over on downs. Heck of a play by Jamal Carroll.
You definitely don't see that a whole lot. Teams often try to see if they can get somebody to jump. They don't always snap the ball on 4th down, but you can definitely see Queen City is not a team that's afraid, especially if they're got Ash Odom by their side. But Tallahassee was able to force the turnover and give them really good field position and some momentum in this football game.
Offset I formation for Christensen. He'll throw it over the middle. Threads the needle in between defenders, and the speed of Ty Norris. The tight ends don't usually have such speed and such agility, but he just zorches on up the field through the defense here, Marcus. We'll get another look.
Very incredible by Christensen to put that ball right over the middle And really good by Norris to be able to catch that ball in the speed that you don't normally see from a tight end. Got a lot more yards than I'd expected him to, but really good play up the field.
So just like that, they are knocking on the door once again. Tallahassee from the Queen City 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Christensen, quick throw. He'll get his man over the middle. That's Gossett. And that'll be good for maybe a few yards on the play. Tackle made by Oscar Dunkley.
4 yards is good. It's not the flashiest play, but it will make it a little bit easier as they inch further and further towards that 1st down marker, and as they continue to move into field goal range further and further.
Single back is A.J. Francis. 2nd and 6 from the 24. Francis gets the carry, and he's going to get 1st down yardage into the SFL red zone. Dropped at the 17-yard line with inside a minute to go in the opening frame.
Looked like Francis might have gotten tied up a little bit at the line, but he's able to make it through all the way to the 1st down marker. Really good run. He hasn't run a ton in this game, but he's run well when they needed him to.
Again, Francis the single back, 2 wide receivers towards the bottom of the screen. Christensen going to throw it over the middle, ill-advised pass, and could have been going any other way, courtesy of Avery King. Instead, it'll be 2nd and 10.
Man, that's awfully scary when you have this Queen City defense and secondary who have the opportunity to make you regret pretty much every throw you've ever made. And you just have to be so careful when you're in the red zone. Those turnovers, especially in the red zone, will kill you. It's points, potentially at least 3 points that you could easily have on the board that are taken away if you turn the ball over.
So 2nd and 10 now, offset I formation, 3 wide receivers. 6 in the box for Queen City. Hand off to Francis. Gets a good block. Trying to find some room down the near sideline. Avery King with a great open field tackle. Knocks him down at the 13. It's going to be 3rd and 6 coming up for Tallahassee. That might be the final play of the 1st quarter, Marcus.
Yep, it looks like they're probably going to let it run down, I would assume, here, and give them a little bit of extra time to decide how they're going to pick up those 6 yards.
So 14-14, your score here in Tallahassee. Everybody get an extra bowl of popcorn. We got more to come here from Florida. You're watching the Simulation Football League playoffs presented by APM Music. We're live on YouTube. And again, want to welcome everyone to Wildcard Thursday. Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill, Charles Doherty in the stats truck tonight is Christensen going to find his man. That's Ken Gossett. He hits the pylon. Touchdown, Tallahassee.
Incredibly good offensive play for Tallahassee getting into the end zone. Gossett is just one of those people that if you give him the opportunity to catch the ball, he definitely will. And I want to take a look at this replay. It looks like nobody just followed him out to the side. It looked like he cut off to the left side towards the pylon, and Queen City defenders kind of got lost on who was supposed to follow him out. So it looks like he was uncontested on the left side of the end zone. It was a good job to be able to catch the football and stay in bounds. He almost got pushed out prior to the pylon, though.
Yeah, heck of a play there by Gossett, as he's already gotten 6 catches today, one of them being that touchdown catch, as the kick is up and through for Tallahassee as they retake the lead 21-14, 35 points scored in just over a quarter. That's a recipe for a good game here, Marcus.
It's really been a playoff game if I've ever seen one, you know, going back and forth, momentum showing to be in Queen City's favor, then Tallahassee, then back to Queen City, then back to Tallahassee. You know, it's one of those games where no one team has any advantage for too long.
And the Pride booted downfield back to Queen City. J.K. Johnson III going to run up the field, and he'll be stopped short of the 30-yard line at the 29, where we will see Queen City come out on offense once again. And we'll get another look at the team comparison here. We talked about it a little bit earlier, Marcus. Your thoughts on this team comparison?
They're very, very close. If you look at the points, scored points allowed in the offense, it's a little bit different on the rush offense and the turnovers, but they're very even in a lot of categories.
And it almost makes sense that each of these teams would be the 8 and 9 seed, as Queen City's going to throw it over the middle. Chris Curtis able to get those hands outstretched and bring the ball in for a first down. An athletic play there by the wide receiver.
Chris Curtis always makes good plays for Queen City. You can see that there was some people around him, and he just had a good opportunity to catch that football, but he's usually the leading receiver for this team.
So 1st and 10 now from the Queen City 42. Full house formation handoff. That's Ash Odom, and he's going to get a few yards before he's dragged down at the 46. Tackle was made by a couple of the defensive linemen, I believe, there.
So this is one of the things that Queen City needs to be careful of. They ended up having to go for it on 3rd down and ended up being forced to go on 4th down, and then they weren't able to convert, so they need to make sure that they don't get stuck behind the 1st down marker.
Blitz is coming. Caswell's going to throw. It is incomplete. We do have some MeUndies laundry on the field, so we'll have to check and see what sort of penalty marker we've got. And will be a holding going against the Corsairs. Maybe a little bit too much time for Caswell to throw back there.
Even with the extra time, he just wasn't able to quite make it. It looked like he got rushed at the end and just wasn't able to throw an accurate football. So it's going to back them up quite a bit. And now they're 2nd and 17. They want to try to get some yards here so they're not stuck with a 3rd and long, because that'll be awfully difficult to convert. All over the wide receivers for Queen City are awfully good, so I wouldn't be surprised if they could convert those long 3rd downs.
So after the penalty, like you said, 2nd and 17 from the 36, 4 wideouts for Caswell to work with. Ash Odom in the backfield with him, throws it up top, and tip drill picked off, going the other way. Tallahassee with the interception, and they might take it back all the way. They will. That's going to be a pick 6 for the Pride. Touchdown, Tallahassee.
What a game. I thought his receiver was going to come up with that football. Really good job, honestly. The defensive line for Tallahassee pressured AJ Caswell into making a tough throw in. It ended up getting tipped up and instantly picked, and then amazing job returning it for a touchdown. As soon as Queen City went up and by 2 scores earlier, now the momentum has changed, and Tallahassee is now up by 2 scores.
And Alex Bond getting the tip drill there for the interception and the eventual pick 6. Tallahassee looking to go up by 2 scores. Snap is good, kick up and away and through. We didn't even need to get a chance to get a word from MeUndies. We'll go ahead and discuss them real quick here. MeUndies are the world's most comfortable underwear. Visit MeUndies.com/simulationFL for 15% off your purchase, which will help support the SFL through our partnership. Give the gift of comfort with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Free shipping and returns. Signature soft and stretchy MeUndies. 28-14 now your score in favor of the Pride after the interception return by Alex Bond. So back and forth we go once again as J.K. Johnson III, with seemingly his 8th return tonight, gets it out to the 31-yard line. Well, Queen City will take over again, Marcus.
Time to try to figure out what's going to work here. Their offense is usually really good even through the air, but that secondary and that defense of Tallahassee is extremely strong, so you have to be careful throwing that football. And they've done good keeping Ash Odom in check. So now that you're down, it's time to pull something out of the bag of tricks.
Full house formation, handoff this time, and that's Ash Odom with another big carry. And he's going to get it out to the 39-yard line, already over the century mark. 8 carries, 101 yards.
He's really done really well, especially having that 73-yard touchdown run earlier in the game, the second play of the game, I believe it was, or at least the second offensive snap for Queen City.
We got to stick with that full house formation here. Tallahassee stacking the box. Odom with another carry. He's trying to find some room. He gets first down yardage and more. Out to the 43-yard line this time. Tackle made by Hunter Norwood.
The defensive line has really been pressuring Queen City all game, so often when you see these interceptions by Caswell or inaccurate throws, it's usually because the defensive line has had some pressure on them. So although they haven't quite been able to get him yet, they've done a really good job just forcing that football out of his hands.
Caswell to throw. He's going to throw far sideline. Caught. That's Stephen Hacker with just a 3-yard gain out to the 46-yard line with 8:31 to go here in the first half.
Hacker's starting to get involved in the game. I believe that's only his second reception so far of this game. They've really focused on, I guess Chris Curtis only has a couple receptions as well. They haven't done a lot of passing, and if they have, it's been either caught by Curtis or incomplete.
So Caswell in the gun. He's got a back on either side of him here in the gun on second down. He's going to throw it deep once again, and good coverage once again by the Sprouse boys, as that's Michael Sprouse with the deflection there that results in a 3rd down.
Really good coverage by Sprouse and really good pressure by the defensive line to force that throw. It's just quarterbacks, they have trouble when the defensive line comes in. They throw a little bit earlier than they want to, and it gives the defense a really good opportunity to either pick or knock the ball down.
So 3rd and 7, trips towards the top of the screen. Caswell's going to throw that way and somehow gets it complete. What a throw and catch by Stephen Hacker as he was working on Michael Sprouse.
Incredible catch, really. It looked like right over the top of Sprouse. I didn't even think there was going to be a window for that ball to go into, but pleasantly surprised. That's probably why A.J. Caswell is the quarterback in the playoffs, and I am not.
Well, I'm certainly happy to have you along here as we're here in sunny Tallahassee, Florida. Hand off to Odom, who gets through the line of scrimmage somehow as there were bodies everywhere. He gets to the 37-yard line on a gain of 8, and Odom just continuing to run all over this Pride defense.
He really has. He's really found some good places to run. Even when they stop him, they don't seem to stop him for too long. Every couple of runs, he finds some really good room to make a good, 8-10 yard run.
Offset eye for the Corsairs this time. Tallahassee stacking the box, and Odom throws the defender to the turf, and he's got daylight. He's going to go into the end zone for his 2nd rushing touchdown of the evening. Touchdown Corsairs.
The whole right side of that defensive line came down and just allowed Odom to get off over the edge. If you can see, the defenders went down, and then Odom was able to do really well, just truck through a defender and had too much speed for Tallahassee to catch up with him all the way to the end zone. The passing has been very tough so far, but they've definitely had good opportunities to run the football, and Ash Odom is not disappointing when it comes to how he plays even when they're down by a score or two.
He has just gone bananas here in the first half too, which we were kind of wondering what kind of ball game we would see from these two teams. And Odom, 151 yards on the ground on 11 carries with 2 scores. And we're not even out of the first half here, Marcus, as they boot that extra point up and through, only down 7 points now to the Pride in Tallahassee.
I'm honestly not surprised to see this kind of game. There's only been 8 attempts from passing and 5 completions. And Queen City is normally a good passing attack team, but not against this kind of secondary and defense of Tallahassee. That's why they're sticking to the run, and the run is working.
Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill, Charles Doherty in the Stats truck tonight. Thank you guys for checking us out on Wildcard Wednesday, the first game of the Wildcard doubleheader. Your Commissioner Cameron Irvine will be on the call with Stephen Hacker for the next game, coming up at 8 Central Time, 9 Eastern, as Tallahassee will get things going here from the 32. Single back is A.J. Francis. 2 wide receivers towards the bottom of the screen. Francis gets the handoff. He's going to find some room up the middle of the field as he cuts it back out to the 39-yard line. Good gain of 7 on first down.
You definitely have the lead in this game, and the clock's starting to go down towards halftime, but this is not the type of game where you can just rest being up by 7 points. You've seen how many times teams have flipped the momentum by scoring multiple times in a row, so you got to keep moving, but you also have to play smart. You can't give that defense an opportunity to take the ball away from you.
So second and manageable here for Christensen as he's under center. Francis gets another handoff, and he's going to plow his way through the line of scrimmage. I don't know how he made it through, but he somehow gets the room out to about midfield, will to move the sticks for the Pride once again.
Francis just plowing through people, just that power is really good. And you can see it looks like Tallahassee seemed to be just working the clock a little bit down to see if they can get some time off the clock before they get into field goal range.
Handoff again to Francis. This time he'll get stopped right at around the line of scrimmage. It's going to be no gain. Second and 10 coming up here. It was a good play by Nacho Sicario.
Eventually they're going to start being able to read these runs, and they're going to have to switch it up. I don't know if Tallahassee is worried about putting the ball in the air. They're more concerned about taking the clock down so that if they are able to score, they're able to score with not a whole lot of time left for Queen City to respond.
Three wide receivers. Francis in the backfield. Christensen going to throw, and he's got his man over the middle of the field. Good tackle made by Avery King, who's been active tonight. And that was a catch made by Grayson Willis for a gain of 4.
So far, awfully safe on this particular drive by Tallahassee, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't want to take risks when you don't need to, but you need to make sure that you don't stall out or slow down.
Three wide receivers bunched towards the bottom of the screen this time. Christensen's going to throw that way, and he's got Gossett. Can't hang on to the ball, and that falls incomplete. Going to be 4th down here. A rare drop by Ken Gossett.
That's killer for him. He really had an opportunity just to get his hands on that football. It didn't look like it was contested, and they're going to be a bit outside of field goal range, and now they're going to have to send the ball back over to Queen City.
And with the way this game has gone back and forth, this might be devastating here for Tallahassee early on as we hit the under 5-minute mark to go in the first half. Snap off to the side, punt away, going to bounce at about the 10-yard line and right up into the air. Gunner's able to get there, and no, they didn't get it before the end zone. His tippy toes must have carried into the end zone. It's going to be a touchback. I can't believe that, Marcus.
You got to be awfully careful of where you're going, because it doesn't matter where you touch the football. It matters where you are when they blow the whistle. And unfortunately, he must have taken the ball into the end zone there, and they're going to start at the 20.
So 1st and 10 now, 4:40 to go here in the first half. Handoff to Ash Odom, who's been electric as he gets another 5 or 6 yards on first down, out to the 26-yard line.
Queen City is not afraid to hand the ball off to Ash Odom and make you pay for anything that you've done recently. They just hand the ball off, and he's up the field for 7-8 yards every time like clockwork.
And here we go, full house formation. Primarily a running formation, and it's going to be another handoff to Ash Odom. He's had plenty of success with this formation as he gets first down yardage and out to the 36-yard line. He's got 166 yards on the ground.
When you have 160 yards through the ground and you only have about 40 yards through the air, you know where your production's coming from, and it's not a surprise that this is what they're doing going towards the end of the half here.
Get a quick shout out to some folks in the chat tonight. Jeff Molinishin, Eric Dahlquist, It's Mapping, Colby Mays, Kansas Phoenix, the always lovely Andrew Hamilton, Thomas DeWar, just some names in the chat. Mike Daggs and the Commissioner Cameron Irvine also in the chat as Christensen throws towards the sideline. No, excuse me, Caswell throws towards the sideline, and it's going to be incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Good play by Caswell. The defensive line was coming in from Tallahassee, and he just knew that he had to throw the ball away. It was better to throw the ball away, take it incomplete, stay where you are, stop the clock, than it would be to take a sack. So good QB sense to get rid of the football.
Clock freezes at 3:41. Caswell takes the snap. He's going to quickly throw towards the far sideline, and another pick. That's his 3rd of the ball game, and Tallahassee not able to return this one to the house, but still a great play by Michael Sprouse.
Usually when you see quarterbacks throw that quickly, usually they see something they like. And it looks like they thought, I think was that Stephen Hacker, the intended receiver? It looked like he thought maybe Hacker was going to be able to outrun him, and he just wasn't able to. So really good job by Tallahassee to come away with that as well. Just too many mistakes and too many turnovers by Queen City in this game so far.
And that's the second pick of the evening for Michael Strauss as well. Handoff to A.J. Francis doing his best Ash Odom impression as he buries bodies into the turf and past the first down marker. And A.J. Francis is not getting up. That's bad news for the Pride.
And it really is. He's one of the toughest runners on this team. And he did good job picking up. They pretty much picked up on this drive where they left off on the last one, near midfield and just running the football.
So we'll have to keep a close eye on the injury report, and hopefully we'll get some news on Francis getting back in the ball game. Christensen's going to be in the gun this time on this first down from the 48 of Queen City. Takes the snap. Pressure's coming in his face. He'll throw it to the far sideline. That's caught for first down yardage as he steps out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Good play by Willis.
So we're going to see if Francis is going to be out for a bit. That might change up their game plan a little bit. They might not be able to run as often as they would like. But it's a good thing that Tallahassee has such good wide receivers and a good quarterback. They should be able to make up for that as long as they play smart.
Christensen to throw again. He's going to throw it over the middle of the field this time. That's caught again for first down yardage. Just a quick and easy pass to Gossett as he moves the sticks and moves further into Queen City territory.
Man, some of these throws that Christensen makes just worries me a little bit. There were just a lot of people around him, and he did have a good opportunity. He had about a second head start on that football, but Queen City could have potentially jumped up to nab that football. So it was a really good play by Gossett and a good time throw by Christensen.
So trips towards the bottom of the screen. They're bunched together. Christensen's going to go the opposite way, though. He's got Gossett again, this time for 6 yards, out to the 12-yard line of Queen City. And he was tackled out of bounds, so the clock will stop momentarily at 2:41.
We've already seen Christensen throw a pick six in this game, so we know that the secondary from Queen City is very, very good. So with potentially A.J. Francis being out, that gives a huge momentum shift towards Queen City if they can force some turnovers.
Offset I formation, first handoff without Francis in the lineup, and that, I believe, is Allen Urban, the backup running back. He does get first down yardage, though, and it'll be first and goal from the 8.
You're not going to be able to abandon the run completely, especially against a team like Queen City. You're not going to be able to run as much as you would like if A.J. Francis is not in, but you still need to be handing the football off.
They're going to go offset I once again here, Marcus. And we're going to hit the quick 2-minute warning before they can do that. 2 minutes to go here in Tallahassee. The hometown Pride knocking on the door once again. They've already got a 7-point lead. 28-21 here in Tallahassee. You're watching the Simulation Football League playoffs, brought to you by APM Music. We're live on YouTube. Two minutes to go. Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill, Charles Doherty in the stats truck tonight. Trips towards the top of the screen for Christensen. He's going to throw over the middle instead, and he gets stopped right at the goal line. They'll mark him at the 1, where it'll be second and goal. Good catch there by Norris.
Looks like they decided to abandon that potential running formation they had before the 2-minute warning, and it worked out. It got them on the goal line, but I wouldn't be surprised to see if they hand it off to their backup running back now, see if they can get him in the end zone.
Tallahassee in no hurry here. They're going to hand it off, and that's going to be an easy score for the Pride as they tack 6 more on the board.
Really good drive and really good play, especially losing the momentum of potentially having A.J. Francis out. So even with A.J. Francis not in for most of that drive, they were able to still make it all the way up the field and get the touchdown and bring it back to being up by almost 2 scores if they're able to make this particular field goal or extra point. And then we'll have to see Queen City if they're going to try their 2-minute offense and see if they can get some points before halftime.
Tallahassee trying to make this a 14-point lead. with 1:33 left to go here in the half, and that is up and good. So Tallahassee up by 14, 35-21. A very high-scoring affair here in the state capital of Florida, as Queen City will get the football here with 3 timeouts left to go. And we'll get a quick word here from Quip. Quip Design delivers simple ways to keep your mouth healthy with time vibrations. Brush head refills for $5, refilled every 3 months. Covered for life with free shipping for life. Use the link posted in the chat, and your purchase will help support the SFL through our partnership. Quip, a more wholesome clean. As J.K. Johnson III trying to remain patient on the return, and he will make it out to the 31-yard line. That's about where they've been starting things off throughout the day here, Marcus.
They really got to try to get some points here. They can't go into halftime down like this. And the first quarter is really back and forth between the two teams. And then Tallahassee started getting some momentum, and they started to run away with it a little bit.
And good pressure up the middle by the Pride. And Odom somehow manages to find positive yardage out of it. And actually looks like A.J. Francis, it was funny, there were a lot of folks that were saying that Francis got poked in the eye in the chat, and sure enough, a poke in the eye, he might return later on in the ballgame.
Well, hopefully that's not to be as bad. We saw Cramps take out some players for an entire game, so I'm hoping he can make a quick recovery.
Handoff again to Odom, and the Pride trying to stack the box up and limit the damage here by Odom. He's already run for almost 175 yards here in the first half. This time Caswell's going to throw. This time he's got J.K. Johnson III, and Johnson III will wisely step out of bounds to stop the clock there at the 44-yard line.
Running has always served this team extremely well in this game, but you need to start passing a bit when you're down to the last minute, because even if you can get Odom moving, you're still taking way too much time off the clock. You need to get some
Caswell to throw. Caswell's in trouble. He's going to go down. First sack of the ball game by this Tallahassee squad, and I believe that was none other than E.J. DeQ. He had 7 sacks last week against Chicago.
E.J. DeQ is really top-notch defensive lineman, always gets many sacks, and you can see the defensive line has always been in there chasing Caswell around the field so far this game. It's about time they finally got him.
Queen City forced to burn their first timeout after that sack. 42 seconds to go. Odom gets the handoff, and he's going to go right up the middle of the field, dropping bodies along the way to the 45, and Queen City will burn their second timeout. They'll have 1 remaining with this 3rd and 8.
Seems like Queen City is just not sure what they want to do with this particular drive. They just didn't have the ambition to go through the air. They're not sure if they can make it through the air, or I don't know what. They keep relying on the running game. That's just not going to serve them well. About 40 seconds to get into the end zone.
4 wide receivers for Caswell to work with. He's going to throw, and he's got his man, J.K. Johnson III, first down yardage into Tallahassee territory, and they will go no huddle with under 30 seconds to go in the first half. Quick snap by Caswell. He's going to throw towards the near sideline. That's Johnson once again, and he's tackled inbounds. Good play by the Pride defense as the clock continues to roll with 13-12. Caswell, he's going to throw far sideline. Could have been picked off. Got a little greedy for the pick there, but Stephen Hacker, for whatever reason, cuts right back inside, and they will call their final timeout with 7 seconds to go, potentially get 3 points on the board.
Little bit greedy for the pick, but honestly, if you were able to make that, what a play if you would be able to take that momentum and take them out of field goal range and be able to force that turnover. But good play by Queen City. Made it over the side, was not able to make it out of bounds, but they were able to have a timeout. So now they have an opportunity.
So kicker punter extraordinaire Ricky Matthews on to attempt this field goal. It'll be a 41-yarder from this distance. Gets the hold. Kick is up and through from 41, so 3 seconds to go in the half. Ricky Matthews boots it through and adds 3 points to the Corsairs.
brings them a little bit closer. Not quite the touchdown they were looking for, but it gives them an opportunity to at least stay in this game as long as they can make sure that they aren't able to do anything with this kick return and go into halftime.
11-point deficit now for the Corsairs, 35-24 in favor of the Pride, who will return this kickoff, and that'll be the final play of the first half. And man, what an electric first half we've had. 59 total points between these two teams. Great way to get our Wild Card Thursday kicked off here with the SFL. We've hit halftime, 35-24 your score. We'll roll the 2K Sports halftime show. We'll be right back on the other side of this break. You're watching the SFL, presented by APM Music. We're live on YouTube. And a live look at the Lions Den here in the state capital of Florida, Tallahassee, Florida. Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill, Charles Doherty in the stats truck tonight. I want to thank you guys for tuning into Wild Card Thursday. First game of our doubleheader of SFL action. We've got the Fury visiting the Sioux Falls Sparrows, Las Vegas Fury visiting the Sioux Falls Sparrows, coming up on the other side of this ballgame. Your commissioner, Cameron Irvine, will be on the call with Stephen Hacker, so stay tuned for that. But we've got a heck of a ball game here and a heck of a return to start things off for Tallahassee as they get the best return of the evening out to the 42-yard line, and that's where they'll take over to start things off.
Tallahassee's really been knocking the sails out of Queen City on this particular game. They just really haven't quite been able to get that confidence that they needed to get the offense moving as efficiently as they needed to, and that gives Tallahassee the opportunity to get some good turnovers and take advantage in this game. And they're up now by 11 points with the ball, so they have a really good opportunity if they play some good football to come away with a win in this playoff game.
A lot of football left to be played as Christensen will throw to start things off, and he's got an open receiver. That's Ken Gossett, who's had 9 catches for 97 yards, almost into the century mark, and a heck of a play there to start things off for the Pride.
Not a lot of receivers are going to be able to make a catch like that. Thrown a little bit in front of him, but he was able to go ahead and get it. A really good play to make sure he kept control of that football as he went to the ground.
Pharaoh Rains and Achilles Frank were the 2 defenders out there in coverage. Christensen just threading the needle there. Very impressive throw. And a better catch by Ken Gossett. 1st and 10 from the Queen City 38. Christensen going to throw again. He's going to throw deep again, and he'll thread the needle once again. And guess who? Ken Gossett.
That's really the type of quarterback that Christensen is. If he sees an opportunity to put the ball somewhere, he will definitely try to do it. And he had a really good window over some defenders to put the football. And Ken Gossett doing a really good job in making sure he knew exactly where he was and where the football was to come down with that ball.
So 2 very impressive throws coming from Christensen. Both of them to Ken Gossett, and now Gossett over the century mark here. 4 receiving yards. In the SFL red zone we go. A.J. Francis is back in the ball game, and boy is he ever. He'll get down to the 1-yard line. Will it be 1st and goal for the Pride?
Good to have A.J. Francis back in the game after halftime, and what a good first run after coming back straight up and getting the first down and leaving them just 2 yards shy of getting into the end zone here, which they're likely to hand the ball just off to him one more time for the touchdown.
Tallahassee making quick work of the Corsair defense. Just over a minute and a half. And they are knocking on the door on the 1-yard line. Handoff to Francis, and that's an easy touchdown for AJ as he adds more to the Pride's total tonight.
Nice to see him running well after being injured and out of the game for a little bit, but wide open gap right in the offensive line that he was able to run through. So not too difficult for him to be able to make that run, but definitely good that he did. It continues to add to the score and widen the gap that Queen City will need to try to come back to win this game.
So we'll get another extra point here by Richard Douglas. He's been busy tonight as well. Like I said, quick work, working themselves down the field. Minute 37 it took to get all the way down the field from about the 41 or 42-yard line. Extra point up and good. 42-24 now. Your score in favor of the Pride as they extend their lead here in the 3rd quarter. And the SFL is brought to you in part by Matt Doyle Designs, official design partner of the SFL. By MediaTek Institute. Visit mediatek.edu for diploma programs. Turn your passion into profession. And in part by MeUndies, the world's most comfortable underwear for men and women, as J.K. Johnson III gets out to the 28-yard line. And again, about an average return here for the Corsairs. That's where they'll start things off here in the second half.
Queen City's really struggled through the air in this game, at least in the second quarter before halftime. It's really important now to see what kind of life they have in this team. They really didn't go through the air before halftime in the 2-minute drill.
It has been the Ash Odom show, and you're seeing why, ladies and gents, as he makes it out to the 34-yard line. A good carry of 6 yards on first down. 185 total on 17 carries. He's also got 2 touchdowns on his resume tonight as well.
If they're able to come back and win this game, it's probably going to be on the back of Ash Odom that they do, as well as potentially the defense if they're able to force some stops. But we really need to see Caswell step up and try to move the ball through the air.
And Tallahassee might be starting to kind of pick up what the Corsairs are putting down as E.J. DeQ gets in there and makes the stop. We'll give them forward progress out to the 33-yard line.
There's only so many times you're going to be able to run the football before this Tallahassee defense starts to cue in on what you're doing.
So 3rd and 5 here. Might be a passing down for Caswell. It is. He's going to step up in the pocket. Good pressure, though. He'll throw it to the near sideline. Some toe drag swag by J.K. Johnson III. And no, they'll mark him out. 4th and 5 coming up. I thought for sure he got his feet in bounds there, Marcus.
It looked like it as well. I'd be interested to see if they decide to challenge this play.
There will be no challenge, so we will see the first punt by kicker punter extraordinaire Ricky Matthews. No pressure coming from the Pride. They'll set up the return. Fielded at about the 30-yard line and brought up the field for a gain of about 3 or 4. And they'll mark him down at the 35-yard line where Tallahassee will take over, already up 18. This can get out of hand here, Marcus. Queen City definitely needs to stop right here.
And it can. You've seen that in the first quarter they were trading touchdowns and even trading multiple touchdowns in a row to each other. But it's really starting to go in the way of Tallahassee, and Queen City's got to start making some stops to stay in this football game.
Offset I formation for Christensen. A.J. Francis back in the ball game. He got the rushing touchdown on the last drive, and we'll get a 4-yard catch to Grayson Willis as we get a look at the leading receivers for the Pride tonight.
Between them, they got 190 yards, which is awfully good considering how much they've also been running the football. A.J. Francis sitting on about 78 yards, and he was even injured for a while, too.
It's a valid point there, Marcus. The fact that Christensen's been throwing the ball around and Francis still with pretty good rushing numbers. And there's Christensen with another good throwing catch, and that again is Grayson Willis as he will move the sticks out to the Queen City 47.
They really have the opportunity to do pretty much anything they want on offense as long as they don't turn the ball over or slow down. So probably a mix of going through the air and going through the ground, trying to keep Queen City off balance and letting the wide receivers make big plays.
Offset I formation again for the Pride on this first down. Christensen throws it over the middle, gutsy throw, but Ken Gossett there to make the catch in double coverage, and that's a 9-yard gain. And Marcus, we talked about this. Queen City probably needs to put the brakes on this Tallahassee passing attack because A.J. Francis has not had the amount of success as Ash Odom.
They definitely have to. Besides the pick 6 that Queen City got, they've really, really struggled to stop Christensen in his passing attack.
Handoff this time to Francis, and he'll get first down yardage out to the 35-yard line of Queen City. They continue to move the sticks, and Avery King with another good tackle. He's been very active tonight as well.
Yard by yard, they continue to try to seal Queen City's fate, although there's plenty of time in this game, and anything could happen. There could be a play back for a touchdown for Queen City anytime, but they really need to start trying to keep them out of field goal range and not let them put any more points up.
So Christensen's going to throw, and he's got his man. That's good enough for first down yardage. Right at the first down marker is Ty Norris, and he got sandwiched right there for the first down out to the 25.
Time is definitely your friend when you're on Tallahassee's side. You can pretty much just run the ball here as you continue to move closer and closer now that you're in field goal range, because any kind of points will put a lot of pressure on Queen City.
Christensen to throw a deep 7-step drop. He's going to sling it over the middle. That's Norris again. Thought maybe he was going to go deep and get greedy for the end zone, but he'll stop it short. Still an 8-yard gain on first down.
It was an 8-yard gain, and it was also really good pass coverage by Queen City. They let up a catch, but somebody was watching him and easily tackled him over and made sure that he didn't get any more yards after catching the football.
Certainly seems like there is not a whole lot that Queen City could do right here as Christensen is just picking the defense apart. A.J. Francis with another handoff. He will get just close enough to the first down marker without getting it. Third and maybe a chest hair.
close enough that they could just hand it off to Francis again to potentially run for that first down, as well as take more time off the clock. It's not the flashiest drive that Tallahassee's putting together, but it's putting way too much time, pressure, and constraints on Queen City to make a play.
And you hit the nail on the head. They don't necessarily need to put anything flashy together, as Francis does get the first down and more out to the 9-yard line inside the 10, so it'll be first and goal for the Pride. They just need to take some time off this clock and put Queen City in a hurt locker, and that's what they're doing right now, Marcus.
Queen City is probably going to let up 3 points here unless they're able to make a stop, but they really need to make sure that they keep Tallahassee out of the end zone, or it's going to be very, very difficult.
Christensen gonna throw, and it's gonna be incomplete. Good coverage out there by the defense to force the incompletion, because he had Willis out there. Or no, excuse me, that was, again, 7s and 11s. It's just doesn't work for me. Trevor Swain was the intended receiver.
That was awfully close, because I thought he had his hands on it, and I thought he had it in the end zone, but he just wasn't able to hold on. So they're going to have to try it again, but they have a lot of opportunities here to get into the end zone.
So 4:25 left to go here in the third. Christensen under center, 2 backs in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to Francis, and Avery King, what a heck of an explosion up the middle as he drags down Francis behind the line.
Awfully good play by Queen City, not letting A.J. Francis go anywhere and even lose some yards. It's up to Tallahassee to decide whether they're just going to run it and kick a field goal or whether they want to take a shot at the end zone. Knowing Christensen, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to put the ball in the end zone.
From this point, I would guess it'd be a passing play from the 11. It's 3rd and goal. Christensen is going to throw. Pressure's coming. He'll throw it over the middle. The only guy he could really throw it to at that point, and that is Grayson Willis. He'll be stopped short of the end zone. It's going to be 4th and goal coming up in the 3.
Threw it a bit short. Willis didn't really have an opportunity to get into the end zone, but for Tallahassee, that's okay. An extra 3 points is going to continue that lead if you're able to make that field goal, and they've done a really good job taking plenty of time off the clock in the 3rd quarter all along the way.
So chip shot field goal, 20 yards here for the Pride, and the kick is up and through. So a good one there by Richard Douglas for his first field goal of the game, and that adds 3 points to the Pride's lead, and maybe one more nail in that coffin for Queen City. Still plenty of time left to go.
Queen City and Tallahassee have played multiple times in the past, and I believe the majority of those games were won by Tallahassee.
45-24 your score. Back up to a 21-point lead for the Pride as Douglas boots it down the field to J.K. Johnson the third, and he fumbles the football. Tallahassee falls on it, and it's going the other way. That's not what you wanted if you're Queen City.
No, when you're down by 21 points, you need every drive you can get, and turning it back over in your own territory is not going to help you. This gives Tallahassee an opportunity to put even more points on the board. That's extremely unfortunate for Queen City. Just have had some rough going for the last 2 quarters.
And guess who? Backup running back Allen Urban, who had a rushing touchdown earlier when A.J. Francis went out. The same guy who recovered the football, so he does everything here as he played well on special teams. So from the 25 of Queen City, great starting field position for the Pride as A.J. Francis gets a good burst of speed up through the middle out to the 19-yard line into the SFL red zone.
A.J. Francis is just going to keep running the ball and keep getting yard after yard. He's slowly starting to come closer to matching some of the stuff that Ash Odom's been doing earlier in this game.
Clock continuing to tick away. Snapped at 15. AJ gets another handoff, and Francis will make it out to the 17-yard line. Avery King has been all over the football field as he gets another tackle.
They have an opportunity here. They're only 2 yards away from the first down marker, so it's time for Queen City to come up and make another stop.
King with 6 tackles tonight, 1 for loss and a pass defended. We'll see what he can do on this play against Christensen. Christensen will air it out in the end zone, and it is incomplete. great play out there by the secondary. He had Ken Gossett, that's Achilles Frank, jarring the bar loose and forcing the incompletion.
Good play. I thought Queen City might have had an opportunity to maybe get that interception, but it worked out. Forced them to only have to go for a field goal here instead of letting up a touchdown. So a really good play by Queen City. Didn't avert disaster completely, but made it a little bit more manageable. It's still going to be fairly hard for the offense of Queen City to try to make a comeback, though.
34-yard attempt here for Richard Douglas. Good snap. The kick is up and away, and it is through. They'll mark it from 33. So the Pride add 3 more points to the board. And as you mentioned, Marcus, certainly not doing any favors is the Queen City special teams unit.
No, unfortunately, that fumble is going to let up 3 points on the board, which is going to make it a bit more difficult now that you're down by 24 points. So time for Queen City to start making some magic on offense, I think.
48-24, 24-point lead for the Pride as they kick things off to Queen City. J.K. Johnson III fumbled it on the last kickoff return. He secures it this time as he will get knocked down at the 25-yard line. So we've discussed this quite a bit here tonight, Marcus. Ash Odom really the only bit of offense that the Corsairs have put together, as Caswell has tossed 3 picks tonight.
It really is. He's gotten about 25 yards on average to each of his wide receivers. And then there's Ash Odom, who's run for almost 200 yards.
Caswell to throw, and he's in trouble. Pride defensive line had pressure up the middle, and that's E.J. DeQ with his 2nd sack of the ball game.
You know, earlier in the game, Tallahassee was getting all kinds of pressure and forcing errant throws on Caswell, and finally they're getting through and getting to him. I wonder if this offensive line is starting to get tired, blocking for Ash Odom and making all these holes for him, as well as trying to keep Caswell upright.
Well, DeQ is a big dude as well, 6'3", 309, and he gets in there in a hurry as Caswell throws it up in the air, and it is incomplete. That was Michael Sprouse out there again in coverage. He has played very, very well tonight as Caswell was looking for Stephen Hacker.
He really has. He's defended so many footballs and made it so much harder for Caswell to throw the football. And that was a very scary play, especially if you're a fan of Queen City, watching that ball potentially in the hands of a gold jersey.
He's had 2 interceptions tonight, almost had a 3rd, as Caswell's forced to throw on 3rd and 14. He throws it quickly, and man, what a catch by Stephen Hacker as he gets down on the ground and secures the football at the 39.
It's a good thing these Queen City receivers can really catch the football because they really didn't have a lot of time. He had to throw the football, and they didn't really have any other opportunities, so it really worked out well, and Hacker did a good job knowing the ball was coming to him and making that catch and getting the first down.
And Sir Chappelle was waiting for him, too. The hard-hitting safety, the former Carolina Skyhawk, coming in for his first season with the Pride. 1st and 10 now from the 39. Full house formation. Ash Odom is in trouble. He goes nowhere, and we haven't seen that a ton tonight, but maybe Tallahassee finally picking up on some things here.
Well, we haven't seen a whole lot of Ash Odom yet in the second half, so who knows what kind of adjustments they made at halftime.
Inside of a minute to go here in the 3rd. Loss of 1 on the play, forces a 2nd and 11. Caswell steps up in the pocket, slings the defender to the turf, and then throws a duck over to Stephen Hacker, who couldn't quite get there. I heard the quacks up here in the broadcast booth.
What a play, man. Wow. I'm really surprised he ended up getting rid of that football. That could really be disastrous, but didn't end up being too bad. I didn't even think he had the opportunity to throw the football, but sure enough, there it went.
And I stand corrected. Apparently, EJ has upped his weight into 312, so not the heavy featherweight, but maybe the heavy featherweight. 3rd and 11 from the 38. 35 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter, and a good pitch and catch out to Chris Curtis. He has been very quiet, but then again, so has the Queen City passing attack, maybe showing some life here as the 3rd quarter comes to a close.
It's been some really fortunate set of circumstances for Queen City in this drive, considering how many times that Tallahassee defensive line had been coming in on Caswell, and he just throws the ball when he needs to, and luckily he had opportunities every single time to get it to his wide receivers.
Probably see one more play here before the end of the third. Caswell takes the high snap. He's in trouble. He'll throw it to the near sideline. He's got J.K. Johnson the third as he makes the catch on the sideline out at the 43-yard line of Tallahassee. A very methodical drive so far for the Corsairs.
Very methodical, and it is working, but they really need to be able to end this drive and get points. It won't mean a whole lot if they move down the field and aren't able to put up points. They really need to get at least 3, but they definitely need at least 7.
So we've hit the end of the third quarter. Tallahassee up by 24, but we've got plenty of football to come here. Get your 4s up, everybody. Final frame coming up here in the opening game of our SFL playoff doubleheader. This is the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music. We're live on YouTube. Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill, Charles Doherty in the stats truck. As I mentioned, game 1 of the SFL playoff Wildcard Thursday doubleheader. We will get Las Vegas visiting Sioux Falls at the second part of our doubleheader here. Your commissioner Cameron Irvine will have the call with Stephen Hacker live from Sioux Falls, and we've had a heck of a ball game here tonight, Marcus.
We really have, and it's really been all Tallahassee in the second and third quarter.
Caswell's going to check it down to Odom, trying to turn on the Jets and get through the defense, and he gets just shy of the first down marker. They'll mark him at the Tallahassee 39, what'll be 4th and 1. And Ricky Matthews is going to come out here, but honestly, I think I might keep the offense out, which might look like we will get that here, Marcus.
They really have to. They don't have really anything to lose being down by this much. If they punted it away, they probably wouldn't have an opportunity.
Caswell in the full house. Parking out signals, and he gets the free play. Odom's still going to get plenty of yardage up the middle of the field. Actually, that's not Ash Odom. That's his backup, Todd Mack. But he got the free play that he needed, and plenty of yardage there from the backup Mack.
Neutral zone infraction, number 91. Defense, the penalty
So that penalty will be declined. Not a whole lot of MeUndies laundry on the field tonight, Marcus. But that one, a very important play.
Usually teams wouldn't be going for it on 4th down at the start of the fourth quarter, but when you're down 24 points, you really don't have any other option. You need every single drive you can get to come up with points.
So we get a look at E.J. DeQ there, 2 sacks, 3 tackles. Not quite the night he had a week ago, but still very impressive numbers coming from the defensive tackle. Caswell's going to throw. He's going to thread the needle to Chris Curtis. There were gold jerseys everywhere there, but somehow Curtis comes down with the catch, and they'll move the sticks.
Curtis is awfully good at catching the football. You see him often with these one-handed catches, doing incredible things that you didn't even think was possible. And he's maneuvering right around all these defenders, and these defenders are probably not even sure what to make of him. And he just finds these open spots for the football, and it's quite incredible watching him navigate the defense.
Matthew Sprouse on coverage. Danny Atkins was out there as well, trying to defend the play, but Curtis just a little bit too smart for them as they move into the SFL red zone, 1st and 10 from the 13. The Corsairs need this here. Caswell to throw. He'll throw far sideline, gets it over the outstretched fingers of the defender to Stephen Hacker, and that will be a gain of 3 out to the 10.
Awfully risky throw. It looked like potentially Tallahassee might have had an opportunity for that one, but it worked out for them, and they still have an opportunity here to get the touchdown. But you have to be so careful when you're in a position like this, because if you go all this way down the field to turn the ball over, that's just heartbreaking for your team.
Caswell's under center this time. Pump fake. He'll go the opposite way, and that's an interception! Tallahassee's secondary has just been all over the field, and Michael Sprouse once again getting his 3rd interception of the ballgame.
I don't think Queen City are going to be very big fans of me anymore, but man, as I said, it's so heartbreaking to turn the ball over so close when you've gone so far down the field. And that secondary from Tallahassee has just been playing incredible. Forced 4 interceptions so far in this game by Casper.
That's broadcaster's curse, my friend. Happens to us all. So from the 13-yard line, 1st and 10, Tallahassee got all the time in the world now as they are up by 24. Norris gets a catch for 8. That moves them out to the 21-yard line.
You know, you saw in the comparison of the teams, the turnovers are just what kills Queen City sometimes. And honestly, I didn't say it at the beginning of the game, but I was sure thinking of it. Sometimes Caswell struggles with those picks, and it makes it very, very difficult, especially like a team like Tallahassee will make you pay for every single one of them.
Handoff to Francis, trying to jump over a defender at the line. Avery King there to welcome him as he goes down. It's still going to be 3rd and short coming up here. But you're absolutely right. And looking at the numbers here between the two quarterbacks, Christensen has been just the definition of efficient. 27 to 35, 317, 2 touchdowns, and just the 1 pick. Meanwhile, A.J. Caswell, pretty efficient himself, but he's thrown 4 picks tonight, 15 and 24, 132 yards in the 4 picks. Handoff to Francis, and Avery King gets another tackle there, but not once. Francis passed the line to gain. It'll be 1st and 10 here from the 26, Marcus.
When it comes to quarterback completion percentage, usually about average in any football league, you're looking at anywhere from like 65 to 70. Anything under 65 is generally preferred as less than preferable. And then anything over 70 is usually considered really good.
And Francis getting another handoff here. He has shown some life as he gets tackled and dragged down past the line of past the 1st down marker. And it's going to be another 1st down for the Pride tonight.
And as I was saying, with the completion percentages, with 70% being considered really good, you have Christensen, who's up at 77% for completion percentages, and then you have A.J. Caswell at 62%. So one above average and one below average, and you can see that reflected in the score.
Christensen to throw. He'll throw far sideline, and again, he's got an open receiver. That's maybe the key part to all this that we've been missing, Marcus, is we've been seeing a lot of open receivers for the Pride on offense. While they're on defense against the Corsairs, they have just been smothering every receiving option they have on offense.
Anytime that Queen City made a catch, it's generally very, very close, and they barely made it. There's usually defenders everywhere.
And Francis with another handoff, this time a good defensive standing from the Corsairs as Avery King and Jeff Duffy get in there for the stop, so it's going to be 3rd and short coming up here.
Time to see what Tallahassee can do to convert, and if they're able to get this, then I don't know exactly when you want to start looking and say, well, what can Queen City do with only 6 minutes left in this game and the need for 24 points?
Corsairs are gonna need some magic for sure, and that's not going to help at all as Francis crosses midfield into Queen City territory and gets yet another 1st down for the Pride offense tonight as the clock ticks under 6 minutes to go in regulation.
You're starting to get, I think, to panic time for Queen City just a little bit. You need to force a turnover probably on this drive to have an opportunity to stay in this game. Otherwise, you might be going home after this game.
Christensen, he's going to throw, and I believe he got him. Couldn't tell if he got the foot inbounds or not. It's going to be 2nd and 4 coming up here. Gossett, the intended receiver.
I believe they did rule that inbounds. I think that was a 1st down play and a gain of 6 yards, which is nice for Tallahassee. And they're even going to let the clock continue to wind down as well.
Yeah, it'll freeze momentarily, but then once they set the ball, clock will start to run once again. Inside of 5.5 to go. Christensen to pass. He's going to throw deep and into coverage. Incomplete. Maybe an ill-advised throw looking for Gossett. Needed a little bit more juice on that for it to be complete here.
Definitely a bit of an ill-advised throw, and really the best opportunity that Queen City has had in this quarter to get an opportunity and take the ball away from Christensen, and they had it just about through his hands. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to come up with it, but a good defense nonetheless.
Achilles Frank out there on coverage. He's had a busy night as well. 6 tackles, a pass defended that you just saw. And Oscar Dunkley actually had a pick 6 earlier in the ball game. when we had that back and forth first quarter of action. Christensen hands it off to Francis, who's got plenty of room up the middle of the field, and he'll power his way down to the 29-yard line.
Tallahassee's back into field goal range now, making it awfully difficult on Queen City, and looks like Urban was the one who was able to take that handoff. It looks like they might be resting A.J. Francis a bit now that they're up 24 points.
Certainly can't argue with that, and Urban's had a good night as well. He recovered a fumble there on the kickoff return by J.K. Johnson III. He's had a rushing touchdown and another big carry here. So busy day for the backup running back as well as we hit 1st and 10 from the 29. Christensen shuffles in the pocket, finds his man, and threads the needle. What a dime out to the 18-yard line, and that's Willis with the catch again.
Starting to tick under 5 minutes, and Tallahassee just keeps moving the football down the field and chugging along and doing well. It really has been quite the game, and besides the first quarter where there was a lot of life for Queen City, you just hadn't seen that kind of life for the rest of the game ever since the first quarter ended.
Clock continuing to roll here as we're inside of 4.5 to go in the ball game. Francis the single back. And Christensen taking his time before he hands it off to A.J. Francis. And he will get stood up at the line of scrimmage again is Duffy and Avery King on the stop.
Queen City trying to make some stops here, trying to get the ball back. But it might be too little too late, unfortunately, for Queen City. Just running too much out of time with too many points left on the board.
And as we mentioned, this offense just has been non-existent beyond Ash Odom. And hats off to Odom, 20 carries, 182 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As he's been absolutely electric for the Corsairs tonight. A.J. Francis, actually, no, I take that back. That's Urban once again getting in there and getting a nice carry. He's had several of those tonight, and he'll make that a 1st and goal.
Both sacks so far for the Tallahassee defense have come from EJDQ, so we've seen a ton of pressure from the defensive line, but EJDQ is the one that's just been able to get there and get the most pressure on AJ Caswell as AJ Francis continues to run and gets the 1st down, leaving them 1st and goal, and the clock running as they continue right towards the end zone.
Yeah, Francis now over the century mark. That was actually Urban on that last carry there, but he's A.J. Francis over the century mark, 25 carries, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he's done very well tonight as well for the Pride. Christensen milking that play clock there as another carry goes up the middle, and that is Urban once again as Avery King makes the stop again. He's been very busy. He's had, I believe that's his 9th tackle tonight.
He's really done well, and they've done well tackling, but they just haven't quite done enough on defense when it comes to pass deflections as well as, stopping Ash Odom from those really big plays. So unfortunately, it just might not be enough for Queen City to come away with the win in this game.
They're going to take one more snap here before the quick 2-minute warning. Second unit in the game, and that is going to be the nail in the coffin if we haven't seen it already. Urban gets another score for touchdown for Tallahassee. That's his 2nd rushing touchdown tonight.
He now has as many rushing touchdowns as A.J. Francis does, so that's kind of interesting when you have both running backs running so well, especially when you're potentially just a relief running back. To step in if somebody gets hurt or to make sure nobody continues to get hurt as they go on. So that's probably going to be the nail in the coffin for Queen City, unfortunately, as there's just not going to be enough time left, and they're going to be down by, looks like, 31 points if they're able to make this field goal.
And a good snap, good hold. Kick is up and through. A 31-point advantage for the Pride with 2:07 left to go here in the final quarter. And, I mentioned that we might have already seen the final nail in the coffin as Tallahassee has just been overwhelming Queen City minus that opening quarter of action that we had.
So likely be Queen City's last drive on offense, depending on how their timeouts work out. But You know, they played a good game. They just weren't able to get the offense running as efficiently as they needed it to. And the defense for Tallahassee just played outstanding.
And the SFL is brought to you in part by Movement Premium Watches, Sunglasses, and Accessories, by Quip Perfect Oral Care delivered, by ScoreStream, official score updates app of the SFL, and by SpyGoat, the sound choice. Eric Vincent alongside Marcus Dunhill, Charles Doherty in the stats truck tonight. Thank you guys for checking out the opening game of Wildcard Wednesday here in the SFL as more pressure comes up the middle for Tallahassee, and we have hit the Quip 2-minute warning. All Tallahassee tonight as they have a huge advantage here in the state capitol.
Good news for Queen City is they just got a free timeout.
That is 100% true. Free timeout. Gather yourself, see if you can get some points on the board. Another very impressive showing here by the Pride. And that 8 seed certainly not showing the type of team that they can be when they're firing on all cylinders. Caswell to throw. He's going to drop a dime to Stephen Hacker. They're going to run no huddle here with all 3 timeouts available to them. Caswell takes the snap. He'll throw near sideline. Got the catch, does Curtis, and he is tackled inbounds. Clock continuing to run. They will go no huddle once again. Caswell, pressure coming. He'll again throw near sideline, and J.K. Johnson III, I think there was a little bit of miscommunication with him as that falls incomplete. Minute 30 left on the clock.
You could see even when Queen City's making these catches, it's such tight coverage by Tallahassee, by these defenders, and that's really the reason that this offense just isn't able to get anywhere, is that the defensive line's putting so much pressure on them and the wide receivers just can't get open.
That truly has been the difference tonight because Queen City on defense has not put that same pressure on the Pride's wide receivers. Caswell rolling over to Hacker. Good spin move by Stephen Hacker as he gets a couple extra yards and crosses the first down marker. Knocked out of bounds there. That'll stop the clock.
Time for Queen City to put on a bit of a show. You know, you're not going to win this game, but you can go get points. You can go put on a good drive for your fans and your team. You know, you can do your best here, and that's probably what they're going to need to do is just go out there and say, you know what, we didn't quite make it, unfortunately, but there's a reason we're in the playoffs, and Queen City is not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination.
No, certainly not. If you make the playoffs, you are not a bad team in this league. I can tell you that right now. As Ash Odom gets a check down there from Caswell, they'll go no huddle after a gain of 3. Clock continuing to roll here. Caswell 5-step drop, throws far sideline, could not quite make the catch, and that is going to be incomplete. 3rd and 7 coming up with 1:07 left to go in the ballgame.
Couple more opportunities here to see what they've got. They're also holding on to their timeouts and electing to run no huddles more often as well, so I wonder what they're going to do if they don't end up converting, if they are going to just let the clock wind down with Tallahassee, or if they're going to use those timeouts to try to get another drive.
And the crowd has not left the stadium yet. They are still here cheering on their Pride despite being up by a substantial margin in the 4th. And what a diving attempt there by Chris Curtis. He makes the catch. Showboats a little bit, but he's getting out to the sideline. Caswell takes the snap under a minute to go. He'll pump fake, go near sideline. That's into coverage and incomplete. Again, great play by the Tallahassee secondary.
Not only was it good coverage, but it looked like Curtis was potentially even out of bounds even when the ball came over there. So
it did look like
I wasn't
that.
even sure if he was even going to be able to have the opportunity to catch that.
Absolutely, can't argue with that. So we'll see if Queen City can get themselves into the end zone in the final 47 seconds here in Tallahassee. Good throw there by Caswell. He'll find J.K. Johnson III and call his first time out into the SFL red zone down at the 19.
Now they got an opportunity to try to get into the end zone, taking their timeouts to make sure they have some time to look at their plays and make sure they pick the right one.
42 seconds left to go. Again, game 1 of our SFL playoff doubleheader. Game 2 coming up next. Las Vegas Fury visiting the Sioux Falls Sparrows from South Dakota. You don't want to miss that one, as Stephen Hacker makes the catch and gets escorted out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Commissioner Cameron Irvine and Stephen Hacker have the call from South Dakota, and that'll be a heck of a ball game as well, Marcus.
It definitely will, and you saw some crazy games this past week that allowed Las Vegas to get into the playoffs, and I'm sure they're going to try their best not to waste the opportunity they have to make a run at the championship, as well as Sioux Falls, who's been a little bit under the radar this season, but they've made it into the playoffs nonetheless as well.
Vegas, the 10 seed, Sioux Falls, the 7 seed, as they will host it, and Caswell throws another interception. That is his 5th on the evening against the 2nd unit, and that is going to be the ball game right there.
That is extremely unfortunate. Queen City was not able to put the ball in the end zone through the air. The only 2 touchdowns that the offense had came from Ash Odom, and he run pretty good, but they ended up falling behind, and then the passing attack was just not able to pick up and was not able to pick up the slack for the rest of the team.
Owens with the interception there seals the deal, as we see the 2nd unit once again for Tallahassee, this time on offense, as Urban does another great carry there out to the 10-yard line, gets them some running room, and Queen City calls their 2nd timeout.
Looks like they're just about 1 yard away from that first down. However, they're going to be able to run out the clock after the next play, even if they don't make it to the first down marker. After Queen City takes another timeout, they should be able to run and take off the last 30 seconds of the clock.
And that's pretty much what's going to happen here. Queen City burns their final timeout, 28 seconds to go. As we mentioned, got another great game coming up from Sioux Falls on the SFL family of networks. Stay tuned on YouTube, and we will have that for you. Commissioner Cameron Irvine and Stephen Hacker will have the call from Sioux Falls. This was a great game, Marcus. It looked like it had the makings of a back and forth, but Tallahassee just pulled away in the second half.
They really did. I really thought, seeing how the first quarter was going, that it was going to be a shootout all the way to the end, and the defense for Tallahassee just started stepping up and forcing turnovers and covering receivers, and Queen City just did not get the opportunities they needed to make plays, and unfortunately, that turnover differential is really the biggest factor. You see Christensen had 1 interception in the game. It was a pick 6. But then it ended up being 5 turnovers for Queen City, as well as the turnover on the kick return. So it ended up being a total of 6.
55-24, the final score. Tallahassee advances to the next round. We will have to see who they face, depending on who wins the next game coming up here. 31 points advantage over the Queen City Corsairs. Like we said, not quite what we were looking at when the game first started, but Tallahassee just pulling away, and turnovers being the story of the game, as they always are. Any final thoughts before we let the people go here, Marcus?
If you are going to go against Tallahassee in the playoffs, I'd be extremely worried from what I've seen today. I'd be terrified to throw the football on that defense. They played extremely well, and true to form of this Tallahassee defense, extremely strong, even the offense. Tallahassee has been even a little bit under the radar too as well this season in comparison to previous seasons, and they haven't lost a step at all, and they have a good opportunity to make a run at the championship like every other team so far. So definitely have to take your game planning seriously in the playoffs, and Tallahassee is going to be no slouch going forward.
Definitely want to watch out for the Pride moving forward. Both these teams, great ball clubs, great to watch, great to call. And speaking of which, I want to thank you guys for coming out and checking us out. It is truly our pleasure to call these football games for you, and we are truly honored to do that for you. So we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for coming out and checking us out tonight. Again, Game 2 of our SFL playoff doubleheader coming up from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And here's our extraordinary Everest player of the game. Christian Christensen, who else? 30 of 39, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 109.5 quarterback rating. Again, stay tuned. Commissioner Cameron Irvine, Stephen Hacker on the call from Sioux Falls, and they will have the Fury against the Sparrows. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League. On behalf of Marcus Dunhill and Charles Doherty, my name is Eric Vinson. Good night and enjoy the playoffs.